or running a football team, you were quite ahead of your time tactically, really. Sometimes you sometimes use Robin Hardy as a sweeper, for instance.
Well, I got that. I actually got that from Cheltenham.
Right.
And I can't remember his name either, but he was crippled. He was an ex-league player, played for Cheltenham, he was manager.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't want to talk about it, I'd remember his name like that.
No, I can't.
Anyway, I watched him play City, Cambridge City, at Milton Road. They played some great football, I thought, Cheltenham, and I thought, I'll keep that.
Yeah.
I can have a go at that. Played sweeper. All he did is just played at the back and just telling everybody else what to do. Yeah, I'll take that ball, so on. So that's why Robin plays sweeper now and again.
Yeah.
Because of that idea. And the other thing I was going to tell you about, which I got off track, was talking about going to Cheltenham in the second leg of the.
Oh, that's right.
This cup, yeah. And because I'd been there and watched Cheltenham play, and the pitch, it was a bumpy pitch, it wasn't a good pitch at all. And Mr. Woolley, going to the game, still on the road, we stopped at for something to eat before the game.
Yeah.
And Jeff Proctor was with us as well. And Mr. Woolley said, you won't win this game, you know, Bill, you won't win the cup. I said, you take my word for it, we will win the cup. There's no question of that. He said, well, they only need to score two. I said, they won't score at all. So I said to the players before the game, I said, look, this is not a football match today. It's just a game where they don't score. I said, if you want to stick the ball in the stand for 90 minutes, that's all right by me, and that's all we did. Right? We didn't attempt to play football at all. What happened? We drew no goals. And won.
Yeah. So you talked about watching Cheltenham in terms of picking up ideas, and who were your influences in coaching and management, or was it all? Was it all yourself?
It was all myself. Do you know what? In all the time I was at, I was at Chesterfield when I was about 14, till I was 21. The only coaching I had at Chesterfield, we had from a bloke called Joe Devine, who had been at Chesterfield many, many years. Joe Devine and George Milburn, who was Bobby Charlton's uncle.
Oh, right, yeah.
There were two of them at Chesterfield. George Milburn, Stan Milburn, his brother, and another one, Jim Milburn, at Leeds.
Right.
All the same family. And the only coaching I got there was they get me out on the pitch, and one stand in front of me, the other one throw the ball in the air. Right? That was when talking about the three of them.
Yeah.
Right? And the idea was that I'd got to get the ball in the air, and I honestly believe that nobody in the country was better in the air than I was. And the other thing was that Joe Devine, I remember, because we played Man United reserves at Old Trafford, and I forget exactly what the score was or anything like that, but I do remember Joe Devine saying during training, right Bill, come here, said we'll go over what happened on this particular goal. And look, you were there, and he'd remember all that sort of thing, and that was the only coaching I ever had playing football at all. We'd never had 5 minutes coaching at Manchester City. They didn't know what the word meant. But so any ideas that I had, I picked up not from the club that I was with, but talking to other people.
Right. That's interesting.
I mean, we played. I can remember playing when I was at Doncaster. I can remember playing against Barrow on a frosty pitch, a real frosty pitch, and Barrow were doing nothing where we were, you know, up there round about the top of the league all season, and they beat us. And I think to myself, well, what's all that about? Sweeper. They played sweeper.
Right.
And you know, because I'm one of those people. I lived every game all week till the next game came on. You know, trying to work out what had happened and what we'd done right and what we'd done wrong. So it wasn't a matter of coaching. It's just a matter of you know, what goes into your head.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So generally, taking the whole of your time at Cambridge United, how do you feel about that time? Do you have any regrets about it, or if you could change anything going back in time, what would you do?
The only thing I'd change would be that instead of suffering the humiliation of getting the sack, I would have left before that when I've been offered other jobs.
Right.
And I'm not going to say which jobs, but I could have left and got a lot more money, and having signed a contract, I'm a man of my word. I signed a contract, so I expect to see the contract out. That was disappointing for me.
Yeah.
But that you always, I think, get in a club, you always get one person on the board who, to put it bluntly, is a pain in the arse. And that's what they got at Cambridge United in the latter years.
Right.
And you can decide yourself who was a pain in the arse.
Well, I have one or two ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to say.
No, I'm not going to say no.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But all I can say is that particular director was walking into the ground one day as I was walking out, and I said good morning to him, and he said, I mentioned his name, and he said good morning to me and walked past me and gone past a couple of yards, and he said, just a minute, he said, I've got a bone to pick with you. You don't like me, do you? I said, no, I don't. In fact, it's wrong of me to say that, because I don't know enough about you, but what I do know is the way that you got on the board, and that I don't like. And that was it. As far as he was concerned, I was a dead duck.
But generally, over the whole
generally,
time,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was most disappointed in Cambridge Evening News, to be honest, when Mike Finnis was reporting.
Yeah. Because
Mike Finnis, in my opinion, was just intent on stirring it up all the time.
Right.
I know. I mean, I know when you talk about journalism, you've got to get something in the paper that's going to attract people's attention. But you don't have to come up with lies. I mean, Mike Finnis, we played at Darlington and got well beat at Darlington just before I got the sack. And I swear to you, on my life, I think it was 5-0. The fifth goal, the bloke was not only offside, it was a bus ride offside. It was stood offside. And the ball, I mean, I'm sat here, and 2 yards from the touchline, I think. The last player here is direct. He's over here somewhere. And how the lineman didn't give him offside, God only knows. And the ball came to him and he just stopped with it. And gospel truth is, turned around, looked round, oh, well, he's not blown the whistle off, he got and just rolled the ball in the net. And just before that, their fullback had lifted one of my players straight off the pitch, and I mean he'd lifted him, he'd clattered him, he'd come straight off the pitch and it landed on me. And all I've done is stand up, and I shouted to the referee, you're pretty close, for God's sake, get hold of him before somebody breaks a leg. And never moved apart from standing up. My Mike Finnis puts in I had to be restrained from running onto the pitch. And what annoyed me about that was David, whatever his name was, the chairman, what was his name? David Ruston. I mean, he was there, he saw what happened, he never attempted to do anything about it. I mean, if I'd have been chairman, I'd have rung the Cambridge Evening News and said, what are you doing? Printing stuff like this, it's absolute nonsense. So, well, to be honest, in some ways, I was glad I was out of it.
Right.
You know, I'd served my time, I'd done exactly what I said in the first place.
Yeah.
But the point is that Cambridge United will never get anywhere. They're not big enough. They're not big enough, and it's not as if they've got somebody like Man City's got, you know, somebody who's got, I mean, people don't realise, those people there are worth 150 billion. Not million, billion. I mean, it's not just one individual, it's...
Sure, yeah.
You know, so, and they can only go so far at Cambridge United. Yeah. There are many clubs in just the same boat, and worse off, a lot worse off.
But do do you follow the club's results?
I follow the club results all the time.
Yeah.
I get information actually. I like Cambridge City as well, from Dennis Rolfe, who was chairman at Cambridge City.
Mm.
And Dennis, he's a lovely chap, Dennis. I got to stay with him when I go to Cambridge. And he gives me all the. In fact, they send me all sorts of paper cuttings from the papers and you know the non-league paper as well. They send me that. Yeah. So I keep in touch with all of them. Shirley gets me fed up. She's fed up hearing about football.
Okay. What do you think of you're football mad, aren't you? You watch.
I'm a football nutcase.
Yeah. What do you think it's a better game now than it was when you were playing or managing, or what do you think of the game today?
I don't know.
They say it's faster.
People try to compare, don't they, and say, well, it's much better now than it used to be. Well, I simply can't take that on board because, in my opinion, I know they talk about it used to be more long ball stuff, and it certainly did. But the point is, the ball travels a damn sight faster than any man can run.